My name is Randy Bigley. Joining me on the podcast right now from the Ohio State Highway Patrol, Lt.Ty Skaggs. Good morning.
Good morning, Randy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. We're getting that time of year where school's going to be starting here. Some schools are starting this week.
Yeah,
well,
they are. Yeah, so, one of my sons started at Tri Rivers Career Center. He started this week, and then my two older ones are in college. Of course, they're already off and moved into campus and everything. We got more schools coming online, so it's a good time to talk about safety when it comes to the school buses and everything. Kids getting back to school.
Sure. Yeah.
So. A lot of times, people think of the stop school buses that we do enforce that law, but there's more to it than just that. We actually are responsible for conducting school bus inspections for all the school buses throughout the state, and every single school bus is inspected by members of the Highway Patrol at least twice a year to ensure that safety aspect is met, that it is a safe vehicle to transport the kids as well. But we really want to emphasize the traffic safety as far as school buses. Since 2017, over the last 5 years, we've had 6,200 traffic crashes involving school buses just in the state of Ohio, and almost 2,000 injuries, and then 6 killed among those. So it's definitely an important topic. We want to make sure these kids stay safe while they're going to and from school. To talk about what's required for motorists whenever they're approaching a stop school bus that has the flashing red lights and the extended stop sign out on the side. No matter which direction you're approaching from, you got to stop at least 10 feet from it, come to a stop, and you're not allowed to start moving again until the school bus does so. It turns off its lights and resumes motion. We'll be cautious about the kids, walking around in those areas. And a lot of people might not think that it's that big of a deal in the sense that everybody obeys and stops for school buses. Well, not as much as you think. Again, over that last 5-year period, we've had over 16,500 citations written in the state of Ohio.
Really?
School buses.
Wow.
And school zone violations, also speeding through school zones as well. So that leads me into talk about the school zones. So it's not just the school buses. When you're entering those school zones, you got to slow down because there's still some kids, especially in town, that can still walk to school. So in those areas, you want to make sure that you're slowing down so we don't have any accidents there with kids crossing the street.
I'm quite like if you're going to a school zone that doesn't have flashing lights, how do you know when it's time to slow down? Just probably not for the kids, right?
Yeah. I mean, typically you have your times in the morning and in the afternoon. If you see buses, if you see kids, even with absent of flashing lights or absent a sign saying during these, some of the signs will say the restricted hours. So absent any of that, then you just got to look for those things in those morning and afternoon hours.
I think most of them around here have the flashing lights on them, though.
Yeah, more and more of them are switching to that just to make it very clear so that there's no ambiguity to it at all. So.
What kind of penalty can you get for speeding in the school zone?
Well, a lot of school zones. The speeding in the school zones is you're just going to have the fines and everything unless you have multiple offenses. What's more serious that the law looks at is the passing the stop school buses. Most judges are going to require a personal court appearance from you on that, even for a first-time violation, and you could, on the very first violation, receive a suspension for a period of time on your driver's license. So it's really important.
There's still people that do that, pass school buses.
There is.
Wow. How could you be in that big of a hurry?
I don't know if it's what it is. If it's a matter of not knowing the law, or I'm going the opposite direction, so it's okay. It's hard to tell sometimes what people are thinking, but those school bus violations. I think some people that I've seen over the years, they think that if I do it quickly enough, I look around, there's nobody here but me in the school bus. I'm not going to get caught. Well, as you know, technology advances over the years. A lot of school buses these days have onboard cameras that give views to the outside of the school bus. They can capture the violation, and also the school bus driver can then report that violation to the State Highway Patrol. We can investigate it. We find the driver, we can issue a citation. Most violations for traffic law we don't enforce unless we see the violation. Right? Someone can't come to us and say, hey, that person ran a stop sign yesterday and we're going to go write them a ticket, correct? But for school buses, it's different. It's provided in the law that the school bus driver can report it, we can investigate it, we identify the driver, issue the citation, and then if it were to go through court proceedings, then the bus driver would come in to testify to everything that happened. So that's something for motorists to keep in mind, that just because you don't see an officer in the area doesn't mean you're going to get away with that violation if you're in one of those, like you said, such a hurry that you think it's a smart idea to pass the school bus.
Right. I think another thing to look out for too this time of year is farm vehicles too on the roads too, right?
Yeah, especially the closer we get toward the harvest, which is coming up. So you'll start seeing, I'd say, latter part of September, especially all through October, November, be a lot of those out there as well.
Yeah, be patient around those, too.
Right, right.
Right, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So for the top school buses, the motorists, knowing that those schools are coming in the session, they want to plan ahead your commute to work. If you know that you encounter multiple school buses along your way to work, you might have to leave a little earlier than you did through the summertime in case you get stopped behind one of those buses so you don't feel rushed. So you want to allow for that extra time, almost like you allow extra time for a snow day. Right?
Sure.
Also, we want to make sure that people are watching out as they're backing out of their driveways and their garages in town, because you could have, like I said earlier, some of these kids in town will still walk to school. So maybe you didn't see any foot traffic in the mornings all summer, but now you might with some kids crossing, so be careful when you're backing out there. And also, we'd like to encourage parents to take the time to review with their kids before they go back to school what their responsibilities are for being safe, to make sure that they're, even when the bus driver motions them to cross, to still look both ways before they cross, to make sure that they are obeying whatever signals the bus driver gives them, whether to stop or to cross, and pay attention to those things to keep themselves safe as well.
You're also, you guys are hiring out there, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. We have been, had a recruitment push all this year, essentially. We're seeing the same things that industries all over the nation are seeing, post-COVID, with, having trouble finding people to fill the open spots that they have. So we're no different than any other industry. All law enforcement agencies are dealing with it to some extent. So it's definitely a rewarding career, and good pay and benefits. And if you have the desire to serve your community and serve something beyond yourself, it'd be something to look into. So the website is online, www.statepatrol.ohio.gov. There's a link there for recruitment. They can go in there and read a lot about it. And there's a specific link on there, a contact link, where someone could fill out their name, address, phone number, email, in case they have more questions beyond what they can find on the website. And then a recruiter will contact them and answer any questions they have, and then also help them start the process if they're interested in testing to try to get on into the next academy class.
Very nice. All right. Well, thank you so much again. It's look out for those school buses, right? And,
absolutely.
And the kids, and
and the school zones, and just slow down, be patient, and allow for that extra time, so you can still get to where you're going on time, but to make sure everybody else gets there safely.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.